from the side of the EDK, and Valentina Bolterak and Iris Henseler, the two project managers of the ongoing cooperation between Switzerland and Ukraine. My name is Rolf Golob. I'm from Zurich University of Teacher Education Department, International Project of Education. I have the pleasure to guide you through this afternoon. We will have a colleague, Rebecca Welge, who will follow the chat, and if there are urgent questions, please raise your hand. Catherine Hunziker, your hand is still raised, so you might take it down. So otherwise, we will constantly ask you to raise your voice. But please don't hesitate to ask and to take a stand if this is needed. Just since everybody is here, or the ones that have the possibility to be here, you will find on this web page, on this Zoom, a world globe with the explanation Dolmetschen. There you will find the possibility to follow us in English. In the moment we have a Ukrainian speaker. So everything will be either in Ukrainian or English. This was the compromise we had to do. Is there for the moment right now a question from your side? If you are not speaking, it would be great if you would be mute so we don't have additional voices or additional interferences. So I would love to pass on the word now to Marius Berli from the Conference of Cantonal Ministers of Education. Please, Marius, the floor is yours.
Yes, thanks a lot. Just at the beginning, probably an organizational question to my colleagues who are managing the webinar. Is it probably possible that we have already reached the maximum amount of participants? Because my phone is ringing and there are probably other people who want to join. But yeah, I don't know if it's if we have to just admit them or if it's not possible. But yeah, if we have 300 people joining us, so it just shows us that it is an important, very important matter. And as we have a recording, we can send the recording afterwards to everybody who was not able to join. We apologize for that. We started this last week, and we wouldn't have expected that so many people want to join this webinar. It's just we are somehow overwhelmed by the topic. But yeah, thanks a lot for everybody who is here. Thanks a lot to everybody who is joining this webinar this afternoon. My name is Marius Berli, and I'm working as a digitalization officer for the Swiss Conference of Cantonal Ministers of Education in Switzerland, called EDK in Switzerland. And the Ukrainian authorities have informed us a few weeks ago that there is an online learning platform for Ukrainian children, and it can help to educate Ukrainian children in Switzerland. And I am therefore very happy that together with PH Zurich, the Zurich University for Teacher Education, it was possible to organize quickly a webinar where we can inform broadly about this learning platform. Many thanks as well to Mr. Rolf Golob, so Professor Rolf Golob, who was speaking before, who made this possible, who contacted as well the various organizations in Ukraine. So we have now the support from Ukrainian experts to explain to us how to use this website. And if I'm informed correctly, there will even be Artur Seletsky, Deputy Minister of the Ministry of Education, who will be speaking to us. A huge thank you already in advance to all the experts from Ukraine who will speak to us in this difficult situation. I hope all the information given here will be useful in organizing the lessons for Ukrainian children. However, if you have any questions afterwards or any ideas what should be done in addition to that, do not hesitate to send us an email. We will see what is possible to organize in the future. Of course, Mr. Golob mentioned that already. This is somewhat an unusual webinar. It was organized in a very short amount of time. We have now quite a lot of participants, so please be indulgent if something is not working how you expected it. Yeah, it's just organized in a very improvised way, but the interest is great, and perhaps a small word of hope in this very difficult time of war as well. What we discussing today is education, and education is somehow linked to the future, and probably part of a future where this war is over, and education will hopefully lead us or help to lead us out of this crisis and of this war. So it's a small blink of hope in this difficult time. And I would give the word now to my back to Rolf to start with the explanatory part of this meeting.
Thank you very much, Marius. In between, since we have talked last time this morning, Valeria Jonan has jumped in because Artur had to do other tasks in Kiev in this situation. So I would love to pass on the word to you, Mrs. Valeria Jonan. You are the Deputy Minister for Digital Transformation of Ukraine, and we are really looking forward to listening to you and to your words, and thank you very much for taking the time in this moment to support us and the children of Ukraine in Switzerland. Valeria, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, dear colleagues and partners, and thank you for organizing this meeting. Thank you for your permanent support of Ukraine, especially at this moment in the situation that we have, in the situation of war. I would like to express an enormous gratitude to all of you, in particular to the Embassy of Switzerland in Ukraine, Swiss-Ukrainian Decide Project, educational institutions of Switzerland for your permanent encouragement, for backing us up in our efforts to develop digital education in Ukraine. Taking into consideration that educational institutions of Ukraine are unable to conduct full-time studying due to the high risk of student gatherings, destroyed educational facilities and schools are being transformed into temporary shelters, educational process is resumed in a distance learning format. And it is thanks to you, we are well prepared and have the possibility to continue the learning experience for our children without any interruptions. All-Ukrainian School Online, the platform that had to address the consequences of COVID-19 crisis, has now become the main source of educational content for Ukrainian children. Under present circumstances, both the Ministry of Education and Science of Ukraine and our Ministry of Digital Transformation, initiate all possible measures and efforts in order to provide access to education through digital platforms and instruments. We continue to work on the development and placement of e-content for learners, as well as the general modernization and promotion of All-Ukrainian School Online platform. The Ministry of Digital Transformation has been actively working on raising digital literacy, in particular for Ukrainian teachers. As of today, hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians have successfully passed the digital literacy courses and DigiGram, a special test on digital literacy. Last year, in cooperation with the Ministry of Education and Science, we have launched a national initiative which is called Laptop for Every Teacher. As a result, more than 62,000 laptops were distributed among all of the regions of Ukraine. So digital transformation remains our key priority. And I would like to highlight once again that we are grateful for the opportunities that have been provided by Swiss partners and hope to intensify our cooperation. I can't stress enough how grateful we are for protecting and educating our children, for your help with the placement of Ukrainians. On our side, we keep working every day on establishing partnerships with the international community. We're always open for the discussion and new ideas. And later on, my colleague Dmitro will make a speech and show you and present all other educational initiatives which we have now in Ukraine. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deputy Minister Jonan, for your inspiring speech and for your information you have given to us. I am working since now 13 years in cooperation in Ukraine in quite a few projects, especially democracy education and improvement of teaching approaches in classrooms. And we always have to be very modest when we come from a small country where changes could take place in a rather fast way. But then again, as Marius barely knows, as a federation, we also have our difficulties and our questions we need to answer. Again, taking your time to be with us is absolutely fantastic. And maybe there might be some information and questions we need to have. So I don't know if you have the time to stay with us for a short moment. This would be great. If not, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. I would like to pass on the word now to Mrs. Nicole Ruder, Head of International Cooperation in the Embassy of Switzerland in Ukraine. She is the one that had to go through a difficult time together with all the other colleagues in the embassy and the international cooperation. So I'm really grateful to you, Mrs. Ruder, to be with us for this moment, and the floor is to you.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure for me to be here this afternoon. I am particularly happy to see our Ukrainian colleagues who are still in Ukraine. And I have to say, it continues to be difficult to be outside Ukraine and looking at all what is happening. At the same time, I believe we all continue to be, or trying to be, useful to Ukraine. So if we are here this afternoon, it is very much an expression of, on one hand, Ukrainian resilience, the power of digital transformation, and international solidarity with Ukraine. Because what we are discussing here today, the platform, has its origins in the COVID crisis. I remember we were all in Ukraine and we realized there is a lockdown. And much faster, and apologies to my Swiss colleagues, but much, much faster than in Switzerland, there was an excellent cooperation between the Ministry of Education, the Ministry for Digital Transformation, that I also tend to call the Ministry for Magic, and various NGOs, the DECIDE project, the former DOCO project, to try to get the curricula online, but not just online, because just a piece of paper that is scanned and put online is not good enough, but truly transforming a curriculum in a way that it can be used online. So the benefits were already substantive during COVID. It was then realized that this also allowed access for students who were in the non-government controlled areas. And today, this same collaboration, a multi-stakeholder collaboration with government components, NGO components, the University of Zurich, this collaboration allows for students all around the world, Ukrainian students who had to leave because of the war, to continue their education. And I think this, again, it shows part of the agility that really is a characteristic of Ukraine. Because I'm not going to take up too much time, but what I would really like to convey is this is only one project that continues to be useful and that is at the service of Ukrainians. A lot of people who are watching television these days think that Ukraine does not function anymore. Ukraine functions, the government functions. There is places like Mariupol where nothing functions. But even there, the mayor is still there. There is still phones being answered. And I think what we really, in spite of all the pictures that we see on television, need to realize that Ukrainians are improvising. The government is improvising, people are improvising, but it's not chaos. Things haven't stopped. Life hasn't stopped in Ukraine. So also from our side, the embassy is working. We are working virtually as we did during the lockdown. Our programs are running, our projects are running, our staff are actually doing overtime these days. So this is maybe also a hopeful picture of Ukraine. It's not a country in chaos. It's an agile, resilient country that is reacting to an absolutely terrible situation. And we can help them by continuing to educate their children wherever they are. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Nicole Ruder, for this information. And maybe all the colleagues that are here, you have the luxury also to get additional information from the ground, from the ministries and from the embassy. And I'm grateful that you all took place and you took your time to bring us also additional information, not just information about the platform, but also about the life in Ukraine and about the people living there. My admiration for the women, men, for the families, for the children in Ukraine is there since my start, since the beginning, and I wish we also learn from the agility of the families, of the men and women, people living in Ukraine, seeing this not only now in the situation, but also already in the transformation situations in the years before. Thank you very much once more, Ambassador Ruder. I would like to pass now the word, and please allow us to give you some of the background information about the work going on in Ukraine. Maybe the situation now is also a possibility to learn more about this wonderful country. We were probably not that much in the loop of information about Ukraine in the last years. All of a sudden we are. So let's also take a little bit of time to give you some of the background information. I would like to pass on the word now to Valentina Poltorak, the project manager since many, many years. She has set up together with her colleagues in Ukraine this cooperation work we have done for the last over 10 years. Please, Valentina, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Rolf. Dear colleagues, our project, it was started in 2020, but actually our long-lasting cooperation was established in 2008. It is even more than 13 years. It's almost 14 years of successful cooperation with Zurich Pedagogical University. Together, we implemented education for democratic citizenship. And since 2020, we work in frame of the SIDE project. It is really a large-scale project supported by SDC, by Swiss government, and it is directed on implementation of educational reform in local communities of Ukraine. So we were decentralizing the power in Ukraine, and the SIDE project was one of the key. We work with more than 1,000 communities in Ukraine. We work with 200 schools, with teachers, with pupils, with local media on creation of the environment for successful educational reform and for implementation of democracy. Nowadays, of course, we reorientated our work. More than 600 educational establishments, schools, kindergartens were destroyed in Ukraine. It is a really huge catastrophe caused by the Russian invasion. You all know about this. And now we are focused on humanitarian aid to schools because schools now receive a lot of refugee children with mothers, with elderly people. And this is our focus now. And taking this opportunity, I would like to thank Swiss people, Swiss government for this support and for the opportunity to fastly reorientate our activities. And as well, we also support digital transformation in education. Ms. Nicole Ruder and Ms. Valeria Ionan already mentioned it's a platform All-Ukrainian School Online. It was supported by the SIDE project, and it was a tool for those issues caused by the coronavirus. Now we have this beautiful tool developed by NGO Osvitoria, they were the main producer of this platform, and this is the option for our children who are now abroad in these nightmare circumstances. In our project team, we took a decision that we will continue our work on digitalization, and very soon we will have a web page where all the teachers in foreign countries who receive Ukrainian children will find information about the distant learning opportunities, blended learning opportunities, and will also find information on how to connect with Ukrainian teachers to organize this blended learning. And as well, the chatbot will be created for the Ukrainian educators who are now abroad, and we will be really grateful to all of you if you will disseminate this information to those people who are now in Switzerland and in other countries. So we have a lot of different directions, but not to use the time. I would say just that we support now over 1,000 of communities in humanitarian aid and many other directions, including consultations. We work with the heads of the communities, and I would support and prove all those words which Nicole said. The heads of the communities, local self-government is a really backbone of Ukraine now, and they really provide the support, and they really make the things work for the citizens of Ukraine. Thank you for coming to this webinar, and we hope that our long-lasting cooperation will work now, and we will provide all the necessary information to you. Thank you very much for receiving our children, our families, and thank you all for this support you give to Ukraine nowadays. Thank you.
Valentina, thank you very much for your words. It is very touching. And yes, let's hope that our boat that we have built in rather sunny moments also will work and will travel in stormy times together. I would like to also give the possibility now to Iris Henseler, the project manager from the Swiss side, to address a few words from the Zurich University of Teacher Education. Please, Iris, the floor is yours. Iris could have been the one that is more than the 300 numbers, so I don't see her, I don't hear her. I have seen once in one of the information about the Zoom approach that we are only allowed to have 300 here aboard. We stay with the 300. I also get telephone calls now for people waiting. So I guess the same happened to the project manager from the Swiss side, my colleague Iris Henseler. So sorry, Iris, that we will not have the possibility to hear you. So we will pass the word directly to Dmitro Savchorony, the General Director for Blended Education and Digital Education. He is a young fellow who has, I looked at his CV, he has gone through a lot of interesting work that he has done, and since 21 he is the director of this institute. So please, Dimitri, I'd like to pass the word to you.
Thank you very much for your words, and thank you all of you for your support, most of all those previous speakers. So I would like to share my screen and have the presentation, if it is possible. So hopefully you can see my screen right now.
Yes, we can.
Oh, thank you very much. So let me start with the objectives that we have right now. So 33 days of war in Ukraine cost us more than 600 educational facilities damaged, and 74 are completely destroyed all over Ukraine. We have a lot of refugees that fled Ukraine, and there are mostly in the European Union right now. And more than 7 million Ukrainians are internally displaced, mostly in the western part of Ukraine. So that cost a lot, and now you can see how this facilities, educational facilities, schools and universities all over Ukraine look now. So these are the damaged ones or the destroyed ones, but also the educational facilities in the western part of Ukraine unfortunately become the shelters for those who are internally displaced, and educational processes could not be done in the usual way in these educational institutions. So to cover all our challenges, just shortly, I will say that it is totally impossible to have offline education in Ukraine right now. So most of our institutions are working already, but they work in the format of online education. We have the 7 million of internally displaced people all over Ukraine. That caused a lot of different problems in our educational services. Many children and even educators are now abroad. And also in these circumstances, we are enabled to carry out standard admission campaign to higher educational institutions, vocational educational institutions. That will cover these issues a little bit further. So we have developed several platforms and several extensions for those platforms also during this war period of time. So the first one is All-Ukrainian Online School. It has also the mobile app. I think you will see it more, it will be more covered by the next speakers lately today, but this is our main project. So under that, I want to say that we already have more than 400,000 users on our platform, and most of our curriculum is covered by the videos and tests on this platform. So people from many countries are using it, but unfortunately it is not all the curriculum, because we don't have a content for primary education. We do not have a content for vocational education. We want to have teacher trainings also on the platform and more. But we're going to develop all this content before the start of the next school year. So for now, all the materials which should be used in the nearest month till the end of the school year, from 5th till 11th grade, are totally covered on the platform. And we have developed several extensions for it. The first one is online schedule. So on the website of the Ministry of Education and Science of Ukraine, you can find the schedule that covers all the curriculum for the next week. And then it will be covered for the next and the next weeks. So there are links for the YouTube channels where are online video lectures. There are links to these lessons on our online platform. And also with our partners, we provide webinars which are also in this schedule. So those who are not familiar with the platform or do not want to make their own trajectory or their own scheduling, they can use the schedule from the All-Ukrainian online schedule on our website to understand how to manage and what are the classes right now that are suggested from our side. Also, we have already partnership with several online TV channels and offline TV channels, which are currently broadcasting our online lessons every day for each class. So it is also available online and offline without the platform. One of the most important part that I want to say that for now we are trying to get all the information from our partners, like private schools or edtech companies from Ukraine, which have already developed materials and platforms or some mobile apps that could be used for our kids in these hard times. So on this link, you can see all the list that we have already grabbed from our market. All of these mobile apps and all of these things are currently free, and they will be free till the end of the war period. So it can be used for kids all over the world. And there are lots of different possibilities to study and learn using Ukrainian technologies and using Ukrainian curriculum and using Ukrainian private education also, which is currently very useful for us. And like, we are very glad for their support. The next project that we have already launched during the wartime with the UNICEF is named Поруч. This is the psychological help platform for parents and their kids. So using this platform, they can find psychologists to speak with, to have an online meeting. And in the nearest future, we are going to put more materials on this platform. Like these materials that we have already done with one of the greatest psychologists popular in Ukraine. So on our YouTube channel, there are also videos that can help parents to speak with their kids about the wartime or about any situation that they may have, like during this period. You may also know that most of the Ukrainian men are still in Ukraine. So many of those who are refugees right now, they are kids with their mothers. So it may cause psychological damage also to in these circumstances. So we are trying to help them to analyze the situation and speak with the professional about how they should like be doing in this situation. And I will be very glad if you will share these materials or this presentation, these links with all the Ukrainians that it may be useful for. So what I want to add for this, that also we are working not only in the field of school education and preschool education, but also in higher education. And for now, we have an agreements with several huge online platforms like Coursera, edX, and Udemy, and several are in the phase of the negotiations. So they provided us the free access to most of their courses, and it could be used for our educational institutions like universities, but also they have refugee registration form. So all the Ukrainians that are refugees, they can also take this access to Coursera and edX and use this platform to learn, to have an opportunity to study, to have the new work possibilities and so on. So it will be very useful for the millions of people right now. And also, I already saw that there are questions about admissions this year. So the admissions to higher educational institutions in Ukraine, they will be different this year, but to make it just, we want to also have the online test for all the Ukrainians that are going to go to universities in Ukraine. And we are also working on the issue to have it also in European countries, because there are lots of children there right now. So I think that we will have partnerships with educational institutions and testing providers in the biggest European countries, or in the most of European countries, for our students to have an opportunity to pass this test in certification centers, not only in the Western Ukraine, but also in the European countries. Now we're constantly working on this project. That this will be the main one, I think, during this summer. I want to thank you very much, and also thank for all these learning platforms, international organizations, agencies, and governments who already supported us and who are still with us in these hard days. So I will be glad also to answer your questions after the meeting, and thank you very much for this meeting.
Thank you so much. This was simply important and amazing to hear all your information. We already had some chat questions. One question from our side: could you share your PowerPoint presentation with us so we can also make use of it?
Of course.
Perfect. Second question: are the links that you have shown also on the platform? Can they be found there, all the links that you have shown?
So for now, we are constantly in the platform development process. We also have partnerships with UNICEF to have more financial help to develop the platform. So we're going to have several additional things that will be there in the nearest future. We are trying to get the links to different content materials and different edtech providers on the platform. It is now only on, you can see it only on the ministry's website, but I will share all the links with you. They are also in this presentation, and that links are constantly updating. But yes, afterwards we will put the links on All-Ukrainian Online School also. And for now, we are also in the process of developing some methodological materials for like international teachers or managers who want to provide some additional help to our kids abroad, so they can download it in their language or in English also. But I think it will be like in a week or so.
Perfect, super. I think you mentioned a very important piece of information. We are Swiss teachers, so for us to use this platform is not really possible. But I think it's very important that we are aware of this platform and we can pass the information to the Ukrainian parents, to the children, to the youth, and to maybe some institutions that will work with them. Supportive work that will be done in the future also for additional, maybe Ukrainian classes, the way we do it also with other language groups in Switzerland. So as educational specialists and maybe also key players in the field, it's very important that we are aware of these informations of this platform, also of the further development, and can pass on the information. Before I will give the word to Anastasia, I just would like to show you just a little. Do you see this?
Yes, but before Anastasia, I would like to add one more thing that might be very important for to understand our point of view right now. So before the war, we have already established Ukrainian International School. This institution works with the kids who want to have the Ukrainian education abroad. And there was like 3,000 kids in this school participating in some distance learning or tests to analyze, do they know something which is needed in Ukrainian curriculum or not. And now during the first months of war, from our statistics, we have more than 1.5 million children, only children abroad. So this is like, our system is not ready for this changes so quickly, but we are constantly working to analyze what we should do with our institutions to build the capacity to work with people who are now abroad and to provide several things to them. The first one is the Ukrainian language. This is our first priority for those who want to study Ukrainian language. It will be very hard for them to reintegrate into the Ukrainian community afterwards if they do not study this. The Ukrainian history is now crucial for us because of this situation, because of our cultural identity and so on. So for now, we are trying to provide this using the distance learning from all our schools in Ukraine, which can provide distance learning to their kids. Second of all, we are going to provide it through this international school that is a public school and it can provide it for free. Also, all our private institutions are ready to help in this and ready to consult or to give this distance learning classes. And also all our online materials are currently free and can be used for this purpose also. But for now, we are trying to understand what should be the technical side of these projects, what we can do during the nearest month to make it more easily to use for teachers abroad who cannot like speak Ukrainian language. So I will think also what we can do to have more materials on the platform, but also what we can do to translate some parts of the user interface for it to become more suitable for English-speaking teachers who can at least understand what are the tools that they might have and what is the content that they can already like implement or suggest to parents where they can find the answers for their questions.
Perfect.
Thank you.
I think this will be important also to hear from Anastasia afterwards, because the teacher section basically was thought for teachers in Ukraine, but nowadays it could be also usable for parents working here, but maybe also for Swiss teachers, as you said, teachers with other languages. Do you see the website that I have uploaded? Is it visible? Okay, and just this little miracle, most of you just might know it, but if I go to übersetzen, we could also do it in French, so it's right now in German, you will see that the whole website will be, thanks to Google, translated in all the different languages. So whatever language you choose, you have the possibility just to click with the right mouse button and choose the language, and you will have all the materials translated in a second in your language. So you have the possibility to get into the materials. But again, to be supportive, we also need to have the possibility then to approach the teacher section. So for this, I would like to pass on the word now to Anastasia. She's one of the responsible of the group of persons that have virtually developed all the materials for this website. So a huge work that has been done, hundreds and hundreds of pages of preparations. I'm full of admiration for the work. So please, Anastasia, the floor is yours.
We are waiting for the Anastasia, because this is like my part of the job. I think I may start something that she might have to say for all these 300 people not to wait for these technical issues. So the platform is built on OpenEdX functionality. Many of you could be already familiar with the interface and so on. There are different type of users right now. It can be the student user and also the teacher user. But for the perspective of this situation, I think that parents might use the teacher. Parents might use the teacher functionality for their kids. So their students' account is totally built for self-paced learning. They can choose whatever class they need and choose from different subjects, enroll into the course. This is the question about the open source system. Yes, this is open source platform, but not Moodle. edX, OpenEdX platform, which was built by the MIT University and Harvard University. So, sorry.
Колеги, вітаю. Підкажіть, будь ласка, чи зараз все добре зі звуком?
So dear colleagues, finally here. Can you hear me now? Yes, we can hear you now. Good. I'm really sorry. The technical moment. I had to turn my headphones on. So thank you very much. My name is Anastasia, and I'm the project manager for Osvitoria NGO for the last year and a half. We have been directly developing the classes that you can now see at the platform, and I really would like to thank all of the presents here today, the Swiss parts, the Decide Ukrainian Switzerland project for the support of Ukrainian students, Ukrainian teachers, and Ukrainians overall before the war started and during COVID, and right now during this really challenging period of time when a lot of students from Ukraine need your support and help more than ever. Dmytro and my other colleagues have already told you about the concept of All-Ukrainian School Online, and if I may, I'm going to share my screen. And I'm going to show you the main opportunities and possibilities of the platform. Overall, the classes at our All-Ukrainian online school are now coping with year 5 till 11 according to the national Ukrainian curricula. They fit accordingly. They have been approved by the Ukrainian University of Educational Development. And as the Metro has said already, by the end of this year, all of the needed materials are going to be published on the platform. So the child, whenever it's going to be comfortable for them, are going to tune in into the platform and will be able to consume the educational content that they would have if they were attending the school offline. If we are talking about the registration process, and when we're going to be showing you it directly, I'm going to show you the educational materials as well. The first thing that we have to do in order to participate in this platform is register. Everything is very easy. The platform is interactively available, especially if you have been using the Google Translate for your interface and for your language. You can fill in the needed data, but the important moment is to choose the role. There are 3 roles that are giving you the opportunity to use the platform: the student, the teacher, and the listener. So basically the free attendant. The free attendant interface and the student interface are going to be alike, but the teacher's interface is going to be crucially different because we're going to have the teacher cabinet there. So right now we're going to switch to my educational account. But Anastasia, just maybe you can use this English for translation for your screen, just for all of our audience would be able to understand what you are showing them, because it might not be clear for the people of what's going on. Yes, you see, unfortunately, I can only translate it into Ukrainian according to that Google menu, because Google for me is in Ukrainian, it does not translate the Ukrainian to other languages. Yes, you can translate into Ukrainian, and that will be the choice of different languages then. Translate to Ukrainian, and then you can choose the language. You have to choose the different language. Maybe there, well, the more option is. Thank you. Thank you for this hint. We'll try to do it like this. So once again, the colleagues, so now you can see the interface that the teacher sees when they registered. So I'm registered as a teacher role. So I just wanted to show you the interface because it will be much alike to what the students see. This is the information about the project, the overall, so the description of the project. So once your course, then a very important tab, especially if it's going to be the Ukrainian language speaking teacher. Here we have the educational tutorials that you can use the English subtitles. Here they will give you the full outline of the functionality of the All-Ukrainian online school. I just wanted to add up here that at this very moment, together with our colleagues, we have been developing a tutorial, a teacher's tutorial on how to use the platform. It's going to be translated in multiple languages. It's going to be translated into English, French, and German. And today, we're going to provide you with a link to the Google Disk, to the Google Drive, so you will be able to upload those materials for yourself and download those materials for yourself in order to organize the process properly. The content of the platform is made of 18 courses. So those are the courses from year 5 to year 11. And when you have registered at the platform, if you are a student, then you can choose the class and the topic that you need, and then you can pass to that. If you're a teacher or an attendee and you're interested in different subjects, then you can use a specific subject that you would like to follow. So for example, let us start with an important subject, which is the Ukrainian language. And I'm sorry for the slow internet, but the most important thing that it works. So in this case, you can use, first of all, the level of the education. So here you can choose the course, and the year that you would like to enroll to, the class that you would like to enroll to, whether you are a teacher or a student, that doesn't really matter. For example, I would like to join the Ukrainian language of 11th grade. Then I press it, I take a look at Learn More. And I'm saving this course. There is the title, the button that says Start the Course. And now you can see the whole program of the course is available for you. So what this course is made up. We have the certain topics. All of the classes are divided to the certain topics depending on the national curricula, the curricula that has been approved in Ukraine. And if you are a teacher, then I'm sorry, that was the technical page. I will now show you. So it freezes sometimes and the platform is not working properly due to the translation issues, but you can see this is the Ukrainian language course class 11. Now you can see this course is available for me to work. So in this case, I'm just going to show you what all of the courses is made of and what each class is made of. I just wanted to say again that it's according to the Ukrainian curricula. We have divided the certain subjects that have to be covered on the semester long. And for a specific subject, we have a number of classes that is dedicated for that, and the students can approve that. So let us take a look at the lesson 1, topic 4, and let us take a look at what do we have here in the content. So one lesson is made up of 3 educational components. There is the video, the educational video that is subtitled. There is a very brief text component of that. You can download that, you can save it on your computer, and you can review that at any moment. And there is a short test that the students should finalize after the class has been completed. The result of this test is going to be preserved in the overall progress track of a student. And if a student is a part of the teacher's class, if the teacher has registered them into their class, I'm going to show you how to do that later on, then the teacher will see the full access to take a look and to track the achievements of the students. So from the point of view of a student, this is a very easy and intuitively understood platform, especially knowing that here, when I have shown you about the instruction of how the platform can be used, this instruction is available for the teacher. This platform is available, and instruction is available for both teacher and the student. I would like to give you more outline for the teacher's interface.
Anastasia, just a second. I would like to interfere with one question, if I may. Several questions came in from the participants. They say it's not, for the moment, not possible to approach as a Swiss teacher. Is there a possibility you can change this, and you give also the possibility for Swiss teachers to get into the platform?
There is possibility to...
Є можливість долучитися до всіх. I just wanted to have why there is no opportunity for the Swiss teachers to get registered there. What is the problem with this registration? Can you clarify what is the problem for the registration?
Maybe a colleague, some of the colleagues tried to get in and they were denied. Maybe because they are not attached to a school, because as I understand, you need to make clear that you belong to a specific official school.
No, there is a list of schools, but we do not have any validation with the registers right now for everyone to have an opportunity to log in. So you can choose any school or find that there are other opportunity to choose other title of the school. Yes, when it was developed for the Ukrainian teachers, during the registration form, the teacher choose the school where he or she works. But for now, all the validations are disabled. So any of those who want to be a teacher can use it and choose any school, and in a few seconds you will register and have all the functionality available.
Perfect. So please, colleagues that tried, could you try again and then give a feedback if it works? Because this might also be important then for Ukrainian parents if they want to support their children or organize private classes, you know. So also not being a teacher might be very, very important in this situation to be able to get into the teacher section. Thank you. So please, colleagues, give feedback when you have had the possibility to get in. Thank you.
And probably another question. The tests that are taken by the pupils, are they relevant for their grades or something, or can we encourage them to take the tests even as to see how good they are or their proper development, or should the tests only be taken by the pupils when they really want to have a grade? Do you understand my question?
So a test.
Yes, I understand your question.
Formative.
So
formative test. Okay. Mm-hmm.
I will try to answer.
There was probably an interruption.
Можливо, пан Дмитро. А чи мене чути, чи все добре?
Так, вас чути.
So first of all, the tests are only for validation. Like, do the children understand the materials in the lesson? Not for any marks or exams or anything. Okay. Just to understand, like, do you understand the lesson or not? Mm-hmm. Do you understand enough? Mm-hmm. So in the nearest future, when we are going to launch the modified teachers tools for all the teachers to have the tools to develop their own courses, I think it will be launched during summer. So for the next only look through the marks that kids can have on already prepared courses, but develop their own courses or modify existing courses for their students. And then you can put any additional tests that you want to check for some reasons, or to like have marks or whatever you want to do.
Okay.
This will come in the nearest future.
Super. I just heard from some colleagues that they had the possibility to register just by choosing a random region, maybe for the post-war situation, to see in which region I would like to go for my next vacation. So just choose one that you would like to choose. I think then this would be a good possibility just to get into it. So everything is possible as now. Just push a school and a region. So all the lines are filled. So there is no line not filled. And then you have the possibility to enter. It's also good to know for the parents. Thank you. Okay, Anastasia, we interrupted you, but I think it was good to answer these questions. So please, the floor is to you again, Anastasia.
Да, дякую.
Yes, thank you. Another point that I wanted to add to what Dmytro has said about the tests and about the methodological component of each of the classes that we have. The teacher that is using the platform just as well as the students do, they might be using the full potential, the full opportunities of the platform. You can use all of the classes, cover all of the topics. You can follow the videos, you can go the tests, you can use the notes. Then it means that you have used all of the available materials, and you can use those materials partly. You can use the very specific components that are needed for your work. But what is also important to note down, for the students, in the students' room, in the students' account, you will also have this progress tracked. You will be able to see what the topics you have covered with the help of the platform. It is important for the students to cover all of the tests. We have the class test that I have shown you before. So when the class is finished, then there is this small test about the topic that has been processed, just for us to have this in-process evaluation. So the students will be able to know whether they have consumed the material fully. Maybe they should once again return to something and relearn something. And it will be given the opportunity for the teacher to know what is the progress of their students in the platform. Okay, so I would like to show you also about the teacher's account a little bit, because we have some of the peculiarities here. So we can see that this is the longest part here. It's about signing up for the classes that you have chosen. The teacher, in order to build your own class, you have to choose what is going to be the year, what is the grade is going to be. For example, you're teaching year 6. And you have to choose the subject that you are choosing, that you are teaching for this class. For example, you are a history of Ukraine teacher for 6th year of education. So you're choosing grade number 6 and the subject of history of Ukraine, and you're choosing your own course here. What does it give you with? In English it says done, but in Ukrainian it means more like a copy. And at this very moment, the course is copied for your own personal account. It's very important. I just wanted to tell you that this is a long process. It takes around 15 or 20 minutes. I saw that the platform has frozen, but that's okay. It might take longer time. It might be faster. Please be patient and wait. Do not make any other additional moves. With that, please be patient with that. I just wanted to show you how does it look like when you have copied the course already. For example, I have provided these 3 courses, the English for year 5 and arts for year 8. Then I can invite my students here. Those are going to be my class, my students that I'll be able to approach. What is important here? We're copying the emails of our students. It's important for it to be the right emails, and we have to ask our students to make sure that every dot, every number is just the same, because our students might be copying something the wrong way. So you are then sending it to them. So we're just copying the emails of your students, and your students will receive a notification that they have been invited to the platform. It's also important to inform your students to check the spam, because sometimes we know our kind of invitation letters will be spammed, and the students say like, oh, we haven't seen that, nothing has been sent to us, but it will be sent. So this is the way your class looks like after the students have already enrolled to the class, have already joined it. I have slight problems with the internet, but
we still can hear you. Just your camera has frozen, but we still could follow you. In the meanwhile, some interesting questions have come in, Anastasia, if I may. Maybe one question that popped up was if the students are learning in Swiss school, diverse content elements, what should they follow? What would be the most important? I think we have heard before that really one of the main questions is that they don't lose the contact to the Ukrainian language. I would believe that this probably would be the most important possibility, and also interest for them to keep on a close contact, history and language, as I have understood, as some of the most important questions. Anastasia, another question was about children with special needs. Are there specific programs or content for children with special needs?
I will answer the second one.
Yes.
So at first, all the curriculum in the platform is covered by the subtitles, and all the videos are prepared for some special needs that children might have. But also in Ukraine, there are some institutions who work specifically with kids with special needs. So we will send you an additional information after the meeting also about this institution. There are lots of people working there, so they might have some recommendations or even online tools for those kids. But during our process of developing this content, we tried to make it as inclusive as possible, cover with subtitles, make audios in a way that are more suitable, and so on.
Great. Okay, thank you. It's just very important that we understand also here that we are also at the start of a specific development, and additional possibilities might also be developed, might pop up. So on the starting website of the Zurich University, we have one specific part where we add all the regularly all the additional materials for this specific situation. So whatever we will receive from you in Ukraine, we will always add to the website of the Zurich University supportive materials for Ukraine. So colleagues, whenever you have a question, either write us or visit the website of the Zurich University with the specific web page, and then you, I'm sure you will find the materials that we receive in the coming days and weeks from Kiev. Anastasia.
Так, вибачте, мене ще й викинуло з інтернету.
Yes, I'm sorry, I was out of internet for a second, but
Perfect.
I hope everything's okay.
Super, we hear you.
And I wanted to show you some additional opportunities for the teachers in the framework of one of the courses where the students have already enrolled to. At this very moment, there's no possibility to change the content of the material, so you cannot change the tests or the content of it. But if teachers have their own vision, and if they would like to give some additional opportunities for the topics that is covered, you have this function that is called discussion. Here you have this opportunity to add up your own tasks or your own activities for your students. They might be the topical discussions, there might be some projects, there might be some additional tasks or activities or additional materials for learning. That it looks like a messenger. And in this case, you can, for example, provide one of the students to make them a role of administrator for the people not to spam or not to use additional information. And that would be like a working space for the live communication in the online format as much as that is possible. That is a very important moment as well. Those are the additional opportunities that we have on the platform. Another moment is the progress tracking. As I've already said, at this very moment, we're tracking the progress based on how the pupils complete the tests either the class, or if the topic is closed already, there's going to be the topic test. And based on all of those tasks and tests, the teachers are able to track the results of a child. You can see the number of the correct answers, you can see the overall sum of the results, and you can see the final topics result as well. I've said that already, just wanted to show you how does this function of the progress tracking look like. And as far as I understand, I've shown you the main canvas of how to work with the platform. As a teacher, I do believe that for the very specific teacher, it would be much helpful to take a look at the tutorials that we have provided, because we have a lot of detailed information in the tutorial, and we'll have a lot of answers for some tricky questions there. Maybe if you'll have some more questions right now, maybe I will just answer your questions, and that will be much better and show you some of the technical peculiarities of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, let's please open the floor to all the participants, because I only was aware, maybe my colleague Rebecca Welge, you have seen some questions that have popped up that could be somehow the same, but otherwise I would also open the floor for all the colleagues here, and right away jump in with your questions, and then we will get the answers as much as possible directly from our friends in Kiev. So please just unmute yourself, and you're free to.
Then I would have a question.
Claudio, yes.
Thank you very much. It was very interesting. I teach a second class, So is there any possibility to get something for younger kids?
Of course.
Mhm.
So there are several possibilities. The first one, till the end of the year, there are some materials like online video lectures for different subjects for younger kids on our YouTube channel, Ministry of Education and Science of Ukraine. They are structured in playlists, so you can find there some video materials if you want. This is the first part. The second part is that I have showed a link for our website where we can combine all the different tools and materials and private schools who provide their lessons for free, which you can like look through and understand what are the opportunities that you would like to have or you would like to suggest to your kids. They are all free for now, so you can decide like whatever you want or suggest for parents to decide. There are different tools, electronic books, audio books, audio fairy tales. Several bookstores provide their content for free also. So you will find, even for those who are in kindergartens, special materials are placed on our website. On the screen, you can see that Anastasia shows that we have this online schedule, and here for the first grades and for the primary school education, you can see that we posted links to this online classes that I have mentioned that are on our YouTube channel, and also for some webinars that we are making like ongoing. But
could you
I think that
post
the
the
most
link into the chat?
This educational tools provided by our business for free. So you will look through the list and understand what is the most preferable.
There was the question. Oh, the link is there. Okay, perfect. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Super, great. Okay. Yes, just to understand the primary school education, the classroom teacher is from 1 grade to 1-4. So from grade 5 on, we have the lower secondary subject teacher approach. This is why 5 to 11 is already here, and classes 1 to 4 are the classroom teachers. So here are these specific materials for those, and certainly the teaching in this on this level has a very specific approach. So thank you for this additional information. Certainly, we have received some remarks via mail that people are getting a little bit impatient that we had this limit of 300. We were not aware that the interest is so huge. We will try to be as fast as possible by this evening to post the video recordings of this meeting, so all the colleagues have the possibility to also get this information. But please, for other questions, still we have the time.
Where will the video be posted? On the website of PH Zurich?
Yes, certainly we will do this. Will it be done also at EDK website, Mario Sperli?
We will see, but PH Zürich ist sicher die sichere Adresse, ja, genau. Ja. Oder sonst hat es dann bei uns einen Link auf das PH Zürich Video, genau. Da sind wir vermutlich schneller. Genau. Probably another question.
Колеги, якщо можна, я додам
And if I might, I would like to add up as well to the previous questions about the materials for the primary school
just a second,
materials.
Anastasia, just a little second. I just show here the website. You see PH Zurich, the main starting website. You will find under the main information right now on the top website, the link then to go in here. And then when you scroll down, you will see all the different sections. So here is just for teachers how to work with the children, and here the materials in Ukraine and also in Russian. So when you press here, you will go directly to the platform, and then we will add also here then the additional materials and the link. So it's just you go to the main website of the Zurich University of Teacher Education, and then you will find the direct link to the materials that will be where we'll add all the new materials that we will receive.
Noch eine Frage, a question to the access for university, which was raised by Cantons contacting me. It was mentioned that there is probably an online test to do the test to get the degree to go to university afterwards. The informations on that, will they also be found on the website of the Ministry of Education of Ukraine? When it's ready and decided how this process will be done.
Yes, of course. So for now, we only have a law that provides us as a ministry the opportunity to change these admission processes in our country. So we are considering several scenarios. One of those is the most relevant for us right now, but we have no dates in this period of time. We hope the situation will go somewhere in the colder phase, so we would have an opportunity to have it more safely. But yes, in the nearest future, the Ministry of Education will make some communication inside the country about how the test will run this year, and this will be only one test for sure for all of those who are willing to go to the public universities in Ukraine and study for free. So for them, we will have this just one simple test, multi-subject test, and we will provide all the information in different languages also for you to have an opportunity to provide this using your channels of information. But it will be, I think, next month. All the decisions will be made.
Thanks a lot.
Other questions, comments?
I have a question because of the COVID time. The young pupils of Ukraine, they come here in Switzerland. They have never been to school now with the pandemic and the online learning. Is that true? The young pupils, they come and they only had this online school.
Really, I don't know how to answer your question, because yes, this period of time is tough for all of us, and the pandemic was like before it, but our lockdowns for schools wasn't temporary at all. So most of the time schools worked during the pandemic. There were several periods of lockdowns in each semester. But less than a half of the whole school time was in the distance format. But yes, for sure, this causes some problems that they might have with the education, unfortunately. So I think that it might be very useful to establish any summer additional courses if it is possible for any children to have a possibility to have those summer trainings, courses, or something. I think that it might be very useful for them.
The question just came in about additional teaching materials. So not all the schools have to invent the wheel themselves. Again, you just have received from my colleague the link to the website. We try to be recent and adapt with materials. I would here also like to give you the information about a different website we have developed in the last years. Basically a democracy website with a lot of materials, but there we have also a section for parents. So I will show you the website here, livingdemocracy.com. This is a website that is published in cooperation with the Council of Europe. And you see we have it in very many languages. So here is the Ukrainian language. So when we push the button here, we have materials for teachers, for principals, and for parents. The teachers material is ready. Oh no, this is not the parents, sorry. I think here is the teachers, yes. No, come on. I will go into the English version so we have the possibility to understand, because we are right now in high tempo finishing also the Ukrainian materials. Teachers, we have teaching materials. It might be in German in about half a year, so it might be also interesting for you for all different levels of primary, secondary 1, secondary 2, for different topics in democracy education. We will, and we have them also certainly in Ukrainian. So whenever you need to find maybe teaching materials or reading materials for children, also higher age, about children's rights and so on, also basic materials, maybe also for teachers coming from Ukraine, some mothers we know are educated teachers, they will find here teaching materials. But as I just mentioned before, we have also supported materials for parents for different age groups. So this is basic material for upbringing in a democratic frame, in a democratic society, with topics to touch. So for instance, when it comes to toddlers, it's about questions of eating habits, tidying up, and children's 4 to 10 homework, aggressive behavior. So basic materials for parents. So it's not specifically done for any language group, but it is in all the languages available. It is all translated and prepared also in Ukrainian, but we will being ready with uploading all the materials on the website in about 3 weeks from now. So when any, for instance, parents have some questions, or when you see they have some questions in upbringing topics, then they will find them on the website here. The same certainly also for you. You see here, we have them in all those different languages, and even in German, we might be ready in 3 or 4 weeks from now, but mainly it was for the countries in Southeast and Eastern Europe, but the needs in German, in French, and maybe also in Italian will be satisfied in the days to come. So here, just as one of the possibilities, as I mentioned before, also for parents in situations they are now, livingdemocracy.com. Okay. Rebecca, colleague that was following the chat, is there anything you would like to specifically mention, or some specific questions that popped up, or comments?
Sorry, just one question before. It's
yes,
possible?
Josephine. Yes.
Yes, thank you very much for all your work. It's very interesting, thank you, and helpful. And then to have an overview, I would like to ask the platform from Anastasia, is that the link you gave us?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And then, because when she showed us, it was very clear, but myself, I don't manage to get, I don't know, to the right thing, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. The one that have developed it, they always know all, and then we are learning step by step. Yes, it is normal. So probably the best is really you try, and then once we really make use of it and we have questions, we might then meet again for a specific, maybe let's say jointly peer working platform or a seminar or a webinar to really teach each other and show each other what we have learned. So it's a good first step to get in, and then certainly with this right mouse click to get the translation into the languages. Probably
you will. The one website I got my link from the school. I managed to translate, but the link you gave us, I didn't manage to translate. So I don't know. Perhaps one time I will manage.
Okay, so
it's I don't know. It's just everything new, so it's normal. And but it's helpful, I think, to register it, not?
Exactly.
Yeah.
This would be best. Yes.
Okay.
And as we have promised you, we will bring in the, let's say, the translated description of how to use in English, German, Italian, and French, and we also will put them online, probably as PDFs. So again, step by step, we will support the possibility to enter. Thank you very much for the patience.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. No, you're
thank
great.
you, Josephine.
Thank you.
Okay. Other questions, comments? Yes, exactly. Marius is mentioning this now on the chat. Please, send us follow-up questions. We will try to answer them as much as possible. And thanks to the direct contact we have to the colleagues, Valentina, your colleagues, and also from the ministries, we are usually quite fast in answering the question. It's really good to also know you now directly, and we have your mail addresses. And as you can see, the interest is really high. So we are really happy that we had the possibility to bring you in. Valentina, is there anything we would have to still think of? You're talking about those supportive explanations by one shall. Might they be ready?
So we are expecting to have French version, German and English today, and Italian. It was translated by our colleague who works as well in the site. The text is ready, but probably Anastasia will tell us when the PDF will be ready. Okay. I think in several days. But anyway, we will provide all the necessary manuals as soon as possible, as soon as we will have them to Zurich Pedagogical University, to Rolf and Iris. And if you have any questions, colleagues, we will be glad to answer all of them, and we will do it as fast as possible.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. What certainly could be a need in the near future is to support, maybe, as we said before, mothers coming with their children who have some maybe pedagogical background, and to gather them also maybe in teams and to see in which way we can support them directly than to work with their children. So we will be like the intermediate supporters and connecting persons or institutions right here. Which would be probably in the near future very important and also needed. Maybe Iris Henseler now, the project manager from Swiss side, has joined us also. There was a place free for you now to come in. Just maybe a few words from your side.
Yeah, thank you very much, Rolf, and all my colleagues in Ukraine. So very glad to see you and hear you, and Marius Bailey as well. So thanks for this great initiative. I think I'm really impressed what is happening here around all this platform and what is possible. Nevertheless, the conditions are really sad and bad. So thank you all for this, and especially for my colleague Rolf. It's really great that we can work together and give our best possible support to everyone who is needed on that, as well the schools in Switzerland. So it's really a challenge, and to bring in all these pupils in and the refugees with this background and these traumatic backgrounds. And so I think I'm really hopeful, looking out for the next few weeks, that we can go together and bring our strength together. So thank you so much. So I'm sorry, because there have been too many people at the beginning. So it was that sorry, it was Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Perfect.
Sorry about. Yeah. Okay. So I'm back, I guess.
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay. So yeah, it was. It was my. It was my greeting words then, and so yeah, let's keep together and let's keep in touch then. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Iris, for your kind words. So if there are no additional questions for the moment, we would close this meeting right here, knowing that this is just a start. Task-based learning means once we start working with it, then the questions pop up. So please don't hesitate to contact us, because we are also beginners like you working with these materials. So it's good to learn jointly from each other. So maybe not only questions you could share with us, but also success and stories of how it worked and how you got connected with each other. So this would be really, really interesting to learn and to cooperate with each other. Yes, there is the platform for teachers on Facebook that was just mentioned. Good idea. We will try to reach out for all the different possibilities, certainly, and give the information as largely as possible to all the users. Yes, Marius.
Genau. Vielleicht nur, wir haben uns jetzt, there were many people here in this, 300 people in this webinar, and we don't have all the email addresses. So I think we will, the point of contact for the future will, if you're okay with that, Rolf, the site of PHZ, that's where we put the materials and probably if ever some further information of all that we discussed. Yep. So because we cannot contact everybody who was in this webinar, because it was the link spread it out like a viral video, so everybody joins the meeting. So it's impossible for us to recontact everybody who was in here. So the point of contact, or the point of information, will be the website of PHZ, the link Rolf mentioned or posted in the chat. Feel free to watch there for further news. Yeah.
Okay, we might also have a comment from the side of our Ukrainian colleagues, like a final comment from your side.
So maybe I will say a couple of words on behalf of Ukrainian colleagues. Yes. I would like to thank Dmitro and Anastasia and other colleagues from the ministry and government who found time to join this webinar. It is really a complicated thing now, because we work 24 hours per day, and especially those who work in the ministries do this. So colleagues, thank you very much, and I hope that we will find an opportunity to support Swiss teachers and teachers from all other countries. And I would say a couple of words to the participants. Colleagues, it's incredible that you support us in such a hard time for Ukraine. Thank you very much. Thank you for receiving our children. And from our side, we will provide any necessary information. Please write us down and we will do it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Valentina. Your touching words. It looks like, we are all the same windows here in the same room, but our daily realities are really, really different. And at the same time, we are professionals of the same profession, supporting children for this world and in this world. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for your support. Thank you, colleagues, for coming in here. Thank you, Marius, for co-organizing this webinar. And also thank you all for being patient, because as you know, this is really a pop-up event, what we tried to do here. And we will try to be as much as possible up to date with all the materials and all the possibilities that we will receive also from the colleagues from Ukraine, but maybe also from your side as teachers and specialists in the educational field. thank you very much. I see Julia has joined also. Good to see you. Julia, friends from many years that all of a sudden are in a situation we never would have believed that we are, but it will be better again. So thank you very much for being together here in this very special room for today. Have a wonderful day, and let's stay in contact, because this is what helps us survive networks and friendship. Thank you very much. Have a good day.